Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular Pure OCD, which is the community name for individuals with intrusive thoughts and mental rituals. Today I'm going to do a video that I think is really important. I get a lot of emails about this. I support people when they're feeling this way, and this is when you get very scared or you get into this mindset of, I don't even think that these thoughts are intrusive anymore. I think that this is what I want. I think, and a lot of it is fear-based, a lot of it is low insight, and a lot of it is um, just kind of that I'm so tired of fighting, I'm just gonna surrender. Um, but not in the way of like surrender and act on the intrusive thoughts. It's that internal surrender of defeat because you're so tired of fighting. Um, and so I'm want to talk about this topic because I have been there. Um, I know a lot of you have been there and may be there right now, and it is such a scary, dark place to be. And I want to talk to you and validate that this is not uncommon when you're living with OCD to get to this spot. And I'm just going to help support you today in helping you to see that you're not alone in this. I am the author of Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, and I'm a certified peer support specialist working with people all over the world providing support for OCD. I run groups through my practice, and I have an online community, and it's also going to be an app very soon. I would love for you to join it. It's going to be phenomenal. I mean, it already is phenomenal, but the app is going to add so much to it. You can join the community at chrissyhodgescommunity.com. It's $35 a month. We have weekly support groups. You have the ability to connect with other members, and the app will make that even better. We have one-on-one peer support, classes, events, anything and everything to bring you into the fold of people who just get it. You need that and you deserve that. So I hope you'll consider joining. You can join at any time, chrissyhodgescommunity.com. NoCD, and OCD is also an app. And inside this app, there's all kinds of resources. There are different forums. They also run groups there as well, and they do treatment, ERP treatment in so many places around the world. Treatment is absolutely necessary for managing OCD. So check them out at treatmyocd.com or nocd.com for more information and to sign up for an assessment. All right, so let's get into this very important topic. Now I'm going to describe to you what I'm talking about. When we experience intrusive thoughts, when we are experiencing especially the physical symptoms of intrusive thoughts, what does this mean? This means, we're having these intrusive thoughts that we don't want, that we are unwanted. They're against our desires, sometimes our morals and values, but yet we're having these thoughts, and it's OCD is described as ego-dystonic. I've said this many times on my videos, where you're having thoughts that you know aren't who you are, but you can't stop thinking them. You can't stop feeling them or seeing the imagery or feeling the intrusive feelings. And so therefore you question um, whether or not it's real, because in your logical brain, you're going, well, why would I have these thoughts? Why would they persist if there isn't something real about them? And so this is where it's ego-dystonic, meaning it's not aligned with who you are or what you want, but you can't stop having them. So it feels like there's two sides of you, like that separate second self. Now, when we are fighting these intrusive thoughts for so long, it doesn't even have to be long, but when we're just fighting them over and over and over, and anything that we do is causing them to get more intense, to feel more real, which typically happens, like they start to feel more realer. Is real? Anyway. They start to feel that way because so you can have physical sensations. So, you know, an easy example is I'm worried I have a brain tumor And now all of a sudden my head's hurting every single day. And I wake up and, now I'm Googling and I'm going to the doctor and they can't find anything, but it still hurts. It's got to be something. Your brain can manifest that, or your brain can make that pain even worse. Now, when we're having sexual intrusive thoughts, a lot of times when we're fighting off these thoughts of, let's use incest, for example, like I'm worried that I am attracted to a family member. When you're thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, you're doing compulsions, you're having imagery, but all of a sudden now your brain starts to react and you're going, oh, I feel this arousal. I feel like I'm aroused to this, or, you get butterflies, or you get, you feel excitement like you would if you were attracted to someone else. And now that's fusing to the family member or, whatever your sexual intrusive thought is. And you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, that means it's real. And these feelings and these physical sensations get really intense. In fact, I've said this before on videos, like the groinal can feel stronger than actual arousal can feel, which is so confusing. But now you're battling all of it. You're battling the thoughts, you're battling the images. Now you're battling physical feelings. And this can happen with violent intrusive thoughts. Now you're getting these, you feel like you're getting these urges. Um, and you're sitting there and yourself to yourself going, if I know that these aren't true, but if it's not true, why am I getting these urges? Why am I feeling aroused? And so you just question it in your head. You're doing everything, you know, to make it go away, to make it stop compulsions. And of course, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. What can happen here is that you start to lose insight. Now, hang on. Like, I'm not saying that you lose insight and you're going to discover that these thoughts are real or that you're going to snap and do something. This is not what I'm talking about. In fact, I just did a video on insight. So go listen to that after this. Insight is our ability to be able to see that this is happening to us and it's not something that's coming from us. Insight is, can I see that this is disordered? Or am I not seeing that this is disordered and oh no, it's coming from me? This must be who I am. Now, insight fluctuates. Like I said in my video before, especially when I had sexual orientation OCD, my insight would get so low. Meaning I would just sit there and go, I feel like I'm aroused 24/7 at everything. I mean, I could look at a rock on the ground and like think it was a boob and get the groin on. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And so, to me, I'm getting bombarded, over and over and over and over. And my body's physically reacting. And I'm just, I'm looking at men and I'm looking at women and I'm comparing, how do I feel? How do I feel? And I'm losing sight. I'm losing, my ability to see what I am and am not attracted to because I'm getting the groinal to everything. So my insight would get really low. I mean, and how this would manifest for me would be I would just go, I guess this is just part of myself that I'm in denial about. I guess this is really who I am and I'm fighting this. I want to stay who I used to be, but now I can't get rid of these thoughts. So maybe this is just my destiny. Now, when it comes to sexual orientation OCD, the outcome for me didn't feel dangerous. I mean, I didn't, because I'm straight, I didn't want to live a life where I was not straight, right? Because that would be what I didn't want, but when we're talking about taboo intrusive thoughts, like, the intrusive thought like POCD and incest and bestiality, all these things that are just inflammatory and things that really are like morally wrong to you, this can be a really tough place to have low insight. This is where hopelessness can come in. And sometimes when that will happen, and if you've been dealing with this for so long and you just feel beat down with everything, you might start to think to yourself, this must be real. And in fact, I don't even feel like the thoughts are intrusive anymore. And you may even I think I even want the thoughts now. And you may think to yourself, I've tested this so much in my brain and my body, like that, and I've watched so much porn about this that maybe this is what I do want. This is not an uncommon place to get, but it feels so scary because it feels like oh no, these thoughts must be real. They've been real all along. And I'm just in denial. This can't be a disorder. Again, lack of insight because it feels so real. You can come back from this. That's what I'm here to tell you. It's not an uncommon place to get. You know, logically, why wouldn't you go to that place? If you're sitting here fighting your brain over and over and over and over with these compulsions because you know that these thoughts are not what you want, and you may be saying to me right now, yeah, but Chrissy, I don't know that I don't want them, right? So, like, this is what your brain's going to do, but why wouldn't you think, well, I have done everything, I've done anything, so this must just be who I am, and I'm in denial. This is part of the process too. I know you might not believe me on this, and you may be sitting here thinking, no, I'm different, and I'm just gonna have to accept this. That's what I was talking about earlier when I was describing it as like it isn't like a conscious choice of like, okay, we're gonna do this. It's more of this surrendering to hopelessness and helplessness, and this is a dark, dark place to be. I have been there. I've been there recently. In the last few years, when I was really battling with OCD, my insight was so low. It was about something that was actually happening in my body, the pain and stuff like that. And I was having OCD about it. I got to that spot and it was so scary. And y'all, I got to the spot and I'm advocating for OCD. I know how to manage OCD, but my insight was so low. I just could not believe it was OCD. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel like, yeah, but I should know better. And, or, I'm the only one that doesn't have OCD. I was sitting there saying the same things. And, I do this for a living. So I had to work on the insight piece and I had to work with a therapist to be able to help me to take that chance, to take that risk to say it feels too real at this point. I'm just gonna have to surrender. And I was so sad about it. And you may even be saying to yourself, I'm not even sad about it anymore. But a lot of this is because you just want the suffering to go away. And sometimes when you just want the suffering to go away, you're just looking for any reason that's why a lot of people will just say, fine, I guess the intrusive thoughts are just true because I just can't fight it anymore. Don't give up. You may get to the spot, but don't give up. They're not true. They're not real. You don't have to surrender to that outcome because I know that you don't want it and I know you don't want it. You're just scared. You're just scared it's true. You're scared you've lost who you are. You're scared you've lost your way. And in a lot of ways you have because that's what happens when OCD takes over. When it takes over everything and it just freezes you and ties you all the way up. Yeah, you have gotten off the path because you're just suffering at this really dark place. But y'all, I have come back from this. I have come back from being in that place when I didn't know it was OCD and when I did. And if I can do it, you can do it. I'm no different than you. I'm no different than you. So the videos, I don't have any solutions to offer. I'm sorry. I wish I could just snap my fingers and get you out of this. But what I am trying to offer you is the knowledge that if you are there, or if you have been there, or if you even save this video for when you are in the future, you can get to that spot and you don't have to believe it. Sometimes when insight gets that low, you just get to a dark, hopeless place, but keep fighting. Reach out for support from me. Join my community. Meet other people who have been there too. Reach out to a therapist. Get some help. You don't have to go through this alone, and especially in that dark place. And I know what you're saying. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I know what it's like to be there too. Take the risk. Do it. Take the step. So you can find out that this is a normal thing that happens to people, and you don't have to live like this. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you know that this is a normal thing that happens when you have just been beat up for so long with these intrusive thoughts and you've tried everything you can. It's normal to get to this pace. It doesn't feel good, and I hate it for you if you're there, but you don't have to give up. So reach out to me, chrissyhodges.com, if you need support, chrissyhodgescommunity.com. Join my community, meet other people. Y'all do it. Take the risk and do it. For therapy, go to nocd.com or treatmyocd.com. And I'll see you next time.